Echoes of extinction. The bridge of the UES horizon fell silent as Captain Maya Reeves studied the massive object drifting through the void. What had initially registered as an asteroid on long-range scans now revealed itself to be something far more intriguing and potentially far more valuable. "Derelict vessel, sir," Lieutenant Commander Navarro reported, his voice hushed with reverence. "Definitely not human design. Approximately 3.2 kilometers in length. Power signatures minimal but present. No distress beacon or communication detected." Maya nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the holographic display. After 15 years leading deep space salvage operations, she'd developed an instinct for these things. This wasn't just another abandoned hulk. Something about this ship felt different, important. "How long has it been adrift?" she asked. Science officer Eliza Chen ran her fingers through calculations on her console. Based on trajectory analysis and molecular degradation of the outer hull, approximately 700 years, Captain. 700 years. The thought sent a shiver down Maya's spine. Humanity had only achieved interstellar travel 3 centuries ago. "Life signs?" she asked, already anticipating the answer. "None detected," Navarro confirmed. "Though the vessel's composition is interfering with our bioscanners, there are sections we can't penetrate." Maya made her decision. Regulations required reporting such finds to United Earth Fleet Command. But out here, 20 light years from the nearest outpost, regulations were more like suggestions. And the salvage rights would set her crew up for life. "Prepare a boarding team," she ordered. "Full environmental suits, weapons hot but safety's on. Lieutenant Kim, keep the engines warm. At the first sign of trouble, we bug out." 30 minutes later, Maya led the boarding party through the alien ship's cavernous airlock. The beam of her helmet light cut through darkness untouched for centuries. The architecture defied human sensibilities. Corridors that curved in impossible angles, surfaces textured with geometric patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. "Atmosphere reading?" Maya asked, her voice echoing through the comm. "Nitrogen-oxygen mix," Chen replied. "Surprisingly similar to Earth standard. Trace biological elements present, but nothing immediately hazardous." Maya considered this. "Keep helmets on regardless. We don't know what's lurking in the air supply." They advanced deeper into the vessel, documenting everything with helmet cameras. The ship's design suggested its creators valued efficiency over comfort. No furniture recognizable as such, no decorative elements, only functionality. "Captain," Navarro called from a side corridor. "You need to see this." Maya followed him into what appeared to be a command center. Massive view screens lined the walls, dark and lifeless. But what caught her attention was the central platform, where translucent pillars rose from the floor, each containing what looked like preserved specimens. Plants, hundreds of species, suspended in some kind of stasis field. "My God," Chen whispered, approaching one of the pillars. "These aren't just any plants. These are species that went extinct on Earth centuries ago. Look, this is the Franklin tree. Disappeared from the wild in the 2100s. Maya frowned. "How is that possible? This ship predates our interstellar capability." "Not just Earth species," Engineer Kozlov called from across the room. "Some of these, I've never seen anything like them. Alien flora. And look at this." He gestured to a console that had flickered to life under his touch. Symbols scrolled across the screen, not in any human language, but somehow translating themselves before their eyes. "Biogenesis Project," Maya read aloud. "Phase 7. Seeding complete. Return journey compromised. Final protocol initiated." A chill ran down her spine. This wasn't just a ship, it was an ark. "Captain," came the urgent voice of Lieutenant Kim from the horizon. "We're detecting power fluctuations throughout the derelict. Something's waking up." Before Maya could respond, the lights in the command center surged to life. The stasis fields around the plant specimens pulsed with energy, and from speakers hidden in the walls came a voice. Neither male nor female, neither mechanical nor organic, but something in between. Genetic compatibility confirmed. Sentient descendants located. Initiating transfer protocol. Maya's instincts screamed danger. Everyone out. Back to the ship now. But it was too late. The doors sealed shut with a decisive hiss. Green light filled the chamber, washing over the boarding team. Maya felt a strange tingling sensation across her skin, followed by a burning that seemed to reach down to her DNA. What's happening? Navarro gasped, looking at his hands. Beneath the transparent material of his gloves, veins of green were spreading across his skin. Captain, Chen said, her voice trembling not with fear, but with awe. I think it's changing us. Maya watched as tiny filaments sprouted from her fingertips, delicate and green. Her mind should have been consumed by terror, but instead she felt a strange clarity. Knowledge not her own flooded her consciousness, the history of a race called the Cedars, who had traveled the galaxy collecting and preserving plant species before an inevitable cosmic disaster. They had known they wouldn't survive. But their legacy, the culmination of millions of years of botanical evolution, would live on through a compatible species. Through humans. We're being integrated, Maya realized, speaking the knowledge as it came to her. The Cedars, they're gone. But they left this ship, this library of life, waiting for someone who could inherit it. On the horizon, Lieutenant Kim watched in horror as the boarding team's vital signs transformed into something no longer recognizably human. Captain, he shouted into the comm. What are your orders? Maya looked at her crew, at the green patterns flowering across their skin, at the newfound awareness blooming in their eyes. She understood now what the Cedars had been. Not conquerors, but gardeners of the cosmos, ensuring that life would continue even after their extinction. Stand down, Lieutenant, she said calmly. We're not in danger. But your biosignatures are changing, yes. We've been chosen as caretakers. She turned to look at the specimens surrounding them, feeling a connection to each one. The Cedars left us a gift, the combined botanical knowledge of 1,000 worlds, and we have a responsibility to use it. As Maya spoke, the ship hummed with new energy. Dormant systems awakened, responding to their presence. The massive engines, silent for centuries, began their startup sequence. The SS Biogenesis is coming back to life, she said, the name entering her mind unbidden. And we're going home. Lieutenant Kim's voice crackled through the comm. What do I tell Earth Command? Maya smiled as she watched tendrils of green wrap lovingly around her wrist, forming patterns that contained the genetic codes of species long thought lost. Tell them, she said, that humanity is about to evolve. Part 2. Seeds of Revolution. 3 months after the discovery of the SS Biogenesis, Earth was no longer the same. Admiral Zhao paced the length of the United Earth Defense Council chamber, his face a mask of barely controlled fury. The holographic displays surrounding him showed scenes from around the globe. Rio de Janeiro, where massive trees with luminescent bark now towered over skyscrapers. Beijing, where fields of previously unknown cereal crops had quadrupled agricultural output overnight. The Sahara Desert, now a verdant landscape of flora unlike anything seen before on Earth. This is nothing short of a hostile takeover, he declared to the assembled council members. Captain Reeves and her crew returned contaminated. Now 30% of our population shows signs of this infection. Council Chair Helena Garcia adjusted her glasses, an affectation as modern medicine had eliminated vision problems centuries ago. Admiral, the scientific consensus doesn't support characterizing this as an infection. The changes appear to be beneficial. Global food production is up. Air quality has improved by 60%. Diseases related to environmental toxins have plummeted. They're not human anymore. Zhao slammed his fist on the table. Have you seen them? The green veins, the ability to photosynthesize, the telepathic connection to plant life. This is exactly how invasions begin, not with violence, but with seduction. Perhaps, said a new voice from the chamber entrance, you should ask us directly rather than talking about us. Maya Reeves entered, followed by her former crew. The changes were even more pronounced than in the early transmissions. Their skin had a subtle green undertone, and in place of hair, they now possessed crown-like structures of what looked like delicate leaves that shifted with their moods. Their eyes held a depth and awareness that made many council members instinctively look away. Captain Reeves, Chair Garcia acknowledged. Or is it still appropriate to call you that? Maya is fine, she replied with a smile. Titles seem less important now. Admiral Zhao stepped forward. You claim to be the same people who left on the horizon, but our tests show your DNA has been fundamentally altered. For all we know, your minds have been compromised as well. We are changed, Maya agreed, but not replaced or controlled. Think of it as an upgrade. The Seeder's knowledge has been integrated into us, but our human identity remains. And these changes spreading across Earth? Garcia asked. The rapid plant growth, the atmospheric alterations. The biogenesis was designed as a terraforming vessel, explained Chen, who stood beside Maya. It carries the collective botanical wisdom of hundreds of civilizations. We're implementing the safest, most beneficial aspects first. Species that can reclaim damaged ecosystems, provide sustainable food sources, produce oxygen more efficiently. Kozlov, his leaf crown a deep, thoughtful blue, added, what would have taken us centuries of genetic engineering and environmental restoration is happening in months. The Seeders spent millions of years perfecting these techniques. We're simply applying them. Admiral Zhao wasn't convinced. And what happens when these benefits have turned our entire population into whatever you are? When Earth no longer belongs to humans, but to some alien plant collective? Maya's expression softened with something like pity. That's not how this works, Admiral. The integration is optional. It only affects those with genetic compatibility and willingness. The changes spreading across Earth's flora don't require humans to change at all. They're simply better plants. Better according to whom? Zhao demanded. Some extinct alien race. Better by any objective measure, Navarro interjected. More nutritious food, more efficient oxygen production, more effective carbon capture, medicinal properties beyond anything in our pharmacology. Chair Garcia studied them carefully. And what do you want from this council? Maya stepped forward, and as she did, a small plant sprouted from her palm, a miniature tree with crystalline leaves that captured the light and split it into colors that danced around the room. Cooperation, she said simply. The Seeders didn't just preserve plants. They preserved the knowledge of how life and technology can coexist in perfect balance. They traveled the stars not as conquerors but as gardeners, helping young civilizations avoid the ecological catastrophes that nearly destroyed their own world. Until something destroyed them instead, Zhao pointed out darkly. Nothing destroyed them, Maya corrected. They evolved. Over millions of years, they gradually merged with their technology and the botanical life they shepherded. The biogenesis wasn't abandoned. It was their final gift, sent to find worthy successors before they transcended their physical form entirely. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. You're saying we could evolve like they did? Garcia asked eventually. Over time, perhaps. But that's thousands of generations away. Maya smiled. For now, we're offering a partnership. Let those who wish to integrate with the Seeders' gift do so. Let the planet heal with their botanical knowledge. And let humanity step into the stars not just as explorers or colonizers, but as caretakers. Admiral Zhao looked unconvinced, but others on the council were nodding thoughtfully. There's something else you should know, Maya added. The biogenesis wasn't the only ship they sent out. She gestured, and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared in the center of the chamber, with dozens of points of light pulsing at various locations. There are others, and now that we've awakened this one, they'll begin to converge. A fleet. Zhao's hand instinctively moved toward his sidearm. A library, corrected Maya. Each vessel containing unique ecological knowledge from different sectors of the galaxy. Together, they form the complete Cedar Archive, a botanical record of life spanning billions of years and thousands of worlds. She looked around at the council members, her gaze both ancient and new. Humanity stands at a crossroads. We can reject this gift out of fear, or we can embrace it and become something greater, not by losing our humanity, but by extending it to encompass a deeper connection with all life. Chair Garcia removed her unnecessary glasses, revealing eyes that had already begun to show the faintest traces of green around the irises. I believe, she said carefully, that this council should hear more about what exactly you're proposing. 5 years later, the transformed landscape of Earth was barely recognizable to those who remembered the world before. Cities now grew rather than being built, living architecture reaching toward the sky in harmonious patterns that maximized both beauty and function. The oceans, once acidified and depleted, teemed with new life forms that worked in concert to maintain perfect balance. Nearly 60% of humanity had chosen integration with the Cedar's gift. The remainder continued as they always had, though benefiting from the environmental restoration and technological leaps that the botanical knowledge had made possible. And far above Earth, in the sprawling orbital shipyards, a new kind of vessel was taking shape, one that grew as much as it was constructed. The first of Earth's own biogenesis ships, designed to carry the combined wisdom of humanity and the Cedars to the stars. On the observation deck of the orbital station, Maya Reeves watched the construction with satisfaction. Beside her stood Admiral Zhao, still fully human by choice, but no longer opposed to the changes embraced by others. You were right to be cautious, Maya told him. Any fundamental change should be questioned. That's the human part of us that the Cedars valued. Our capacity to doubt, to test, to verify. Zhao nodded. And you were right that we needed to evolve. I just never imagined evolution could be a choice rather than something that happens to us. Below them, Earth gleamed blue and green, and now with new colors that had no names before the biogenesis, the signature of plant species that had never existed on their world until now. What do you think they'd make of it? Zhao asked. The Cedars, if they could see what's become of their legacy. Maya smiled, her leaf crown shifting to a warm amber color that reflected her contentment. I think they knew exactly what would happen. They chose us not despite our contradictions, but because of them. Our capacity for destruction matched only by our capacity for nurturing. Our fear of the unknown balanced by our insatiable curiosity. She turned to look at the new ship taking form before them, its living hull pulsing gently with its own internal rhythms. They knew that true gardeners must understand both growth and pruning, creation and curation, just as they once did. And now we carry their knowledge forward, Zhao mused, not just preserving it, but adding to it. That's what gardeners do, Maya replied. They plant seeds knowing they may never see the full-grown tree. The Cedars completed their cycle. Now ours is just beginning. Together, they watched as humanity's first true bioship prepared for its maiden voyage, carrying with it the combined legacy of two vastly different species united by a singular understanding. That life, in all its forms, was the most precious thing in the universe, and worth crossing the stars to preserve.